What's up, everyone? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit, and I am here with
Valerie June.
Valerie June. It is so lovely to meet you.
You too.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today. I have been diving into your music and just all things about you, and I think you have such a beautiful perspective, and I'm really excited to speak to you today. So it's going to be fun. First off, I'd love to know a little bit just about you, where you're from, and what you do.
Well, I'm from West Tennessee, which is the flat, not so beautiful side of Tennessee, because the other side has rolling hills and mountains and smoke and all the beautiful things. But our side's just cotton fields and corn fields. Like there's corn right across the street, and it's super high right now.
Yeah.
And so I was raised in nature and around a bunch of animals, wild animals. Last week, like we were clearing some brush off a trailer on the land, and a very large, probably water moccasin snake was on the trailer.
How fun.
And yeah, we had to coax it to go back into the pond, which once it started to travel, it was as big as my arm. So I grew up with that kind of lifestyle where we caught frogs and salamanders and things like that, and just hung out in a rural area most of my upbringing with my siblings. There's 5 of us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. My family's from the Midwest. Like my family's from Indiana and Wisconsin, and I also have so many memories of like going to my grandparents' house, growing up close to nature, catching animals, catching little frogs, and it is really special to have that experience when you're young. And I'm very excited to talk to you about how that has been worked into your music and how you create. Before we get into that, tell me a little bit about like your music origin story. Like when did you first start loving music, and then when did you start making music?
Well, my father was a music promoter, and he promoted like mostly gospel and R&B acts. And we, as kids, we would help him in his promotion company by hanging flyers on poles around town or going to the radio station when he was doing interviews and advertisements for the shows. So I was raised around the music business, the side of it where you're promoting, not the side of it where you're performing. And so I kind of got to be around people like Bobby Womack and Casey and JoJo and stars like Rance Allen and people like that. And it made me want to say to myself, I don't want to be in the promotion side, I want to be in the art side.
Yeah.
Plus I always loved to sing, and all my siblings, we all sang. And so I didn't know how to play any instruments until I moved out of my parents' house, and I was about 23 when I started to play. Even though I received an instrument when I was 15 from my grandfather, I didn't play it until I was in my early 20s. And so that kind of was a thing where I always knew what I wanted to do. I always knew when I was little, they pulled me out and slapped me on the bottom, and I said, ha! Because I knew I wanted to sing. I let out this James Brown voice. And then they took us to church. And on the church pews, we had no instruments, only people, 500 people every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. And we had to sing. If you didn't sing, you were going to hell. And I don't want to go to hell, so I sang my heart out as loud as I could.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I was sitting by the drunk from the night before or by the preacher's wife or whoever, I sang. And all my siblings did. And so I knew when I was very young that this is what I wanted to do. But I also knew that I had a weird voice. I knew that I don't sound like most folks, and that it's not like radio #1 broadcast voice, you know? It's more an emotional thing. And so I had to, when people would ask me what I wanted to do when I grew up and what I wanted to be, I'd be like, a lawyer, a doctor. I would never say what I really wanted to be, which is what I am now. And I'm so glad I finally got the courage to do it. You know?
You made it there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you ever like look back at your younger self and you're like, you did it, you made it?
Like right now, I'm 43 now, and I'm settling into that. And I wish I'd have settled into it earlier, but I'm really just claiming that for myself now and being like, it's okay. You're okay. You're going to get a gig, and no matter what, I can show up at the subway if I'm in New York, and I can play and make enough to get some dinner. You know, I always have that because I took the time to learn the instruments and to study guitar, banjo, ukulele. Now I'm trying to learn keys and different things, and
Awesome.
just kind of make that my life's plan was to be creative.
Yeah. And knowing that, growing up, you recognized you had this unique voice that maybe didn't sound like what was on the radio or like the top hits. When you started making music and started really becoming more confident in it, what was the point where you feel like you found your voice?
Well, I found my voice in understanding that every single day I'm finding my voice. And
Right.
listening to singers, like the older singers, anyone from Mavis Staples to Johnny Mitchell, I listened to when they were young. Emmylou Harris, who I just opened for this weekend, and she's 78 now. She started when she was really, really young. They were almost teenagers. And Carla Thomas, they were kids, and their voices changed over time. Even if you listen to someone like, I don't know, Aretha, Michael Jackson, any of them, you could hear the way a voice changes through time.
Yeah.
And how every single day as a singer, if you sing, you got to wake up and find your voice.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, look at my voice anymore as being like something that's permanent. I had to always look at my voice as being like, well, where is it today?
Yeah.
And even in the time of day, my voice changes. In the morning, I could totally sing a blues song like an old black man from the South. I got that. I'm down here. But in the evening, I'm on them high notes. I'm like, hitting the high ones. So I just look for, where's my voice? And if it breaks or if it cracks, I have singers that give me confidence in that too.
Totally.
From Joanna Newsom to Karen Dalton or even Tom Waits. These are people with unique voices.
Totally.
Nick Cave. There's so many, and it just helped me to realize, well, what is the power of a voice? It is that you made someone feel something.
Absolutely.
We get so addicted to like these pretty sounds. But I turn on sometimes an Etta James song, not at last, not the ones, where she's really singing in the way of let's make a beautiful song, but the ones where she's emoting.
Totally.
And I'm just like, that raw emotion is what I need.
Yeah.
And there's a place for all of it. There's a place for the beautiful voices that are crystal clear and polished, like Whitney Houston or Alison Krauss or any of these people, and then there's a place for voices that make you feel something, even if you're just kind of like, I don't know if I like that. That's what I feel.
Yeah, you're still feeling.
Yes. And music, to me, that's what it's about. We're supposed to be able to have these safe spaces to feel, be all up in our feelings, and music
Absolutely.
does that.
Definitely. What I love so much about your music is I just feel so much of the messaging is very uplifting, and even outside of the actual words you're singing, just the manner in which you create music, again, just it feels very hopeful, it feels very uplifting, and there's a lot in your music that really points to like finding hope and finding light in a world that can sometimes feel dark and scary. Tell me about how you navigate that, like finding hope in the world around you and then putting that hope into your music.
Well, from the time I was very little, I have gravitated toward positivity. But what does that mean in truth and actuality in this real harsh, dirty, filthy ass world we live in?
Right.
That's my question. How is positivity practiced? And so I started to move into how I take these magical kind of inspirational messages that I believe in my heart and I know to be true, and I throw them against the real world. And I come back at the end of the day and I'm like fine-tuned. Okay, well, I learned some tough lessons today, but it's like on repeat again. Like the next day I get a chance to try it again, to try it again, to try it again. And I think all of life is just like kind of like an experiment where we actually get to use our life as an opportunity to create a better world for those who are coming after us. And I just want that.
Yeah.
And because I want that, that's kind of the way I choose to live.
Definitely.
And I think that's why I get the songs I get.
Yeah, and you were speaking earlier about, getting listening to these amazing artists with examples of how their voice can be used in unique ways. Similarly, are there any artists that you've looked to, any musicians you've looked to who've shared positivity in a way that was inspiring to you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Artists who shared positivity in a way that's inspiring to me. There would be like an artist like, I would say Frida Kahlo is an artist who does that, because just from her existence, not even knowing her story and her hardship, the way she got up in the world and said, every day I might be dealing with sickness, I might be dealing with setbacks, but I'm going to show up for this world.
Yes.
Looking like I want to look today.
Absolutely.
Just decorate every day, just glorious, and celebrate. And And so that lives long after she's gone. We're still pulling from her. Beyonce's been inspired by her. So many artists have been inspired by her because she was fearless in the way she used color, in the way she used flowers, nature, magic, and art, you know?
Yeah.
And so artists like that, they really have inspired me.
Yeah, beautiful, of course. I mean, Frida's an icon, like you said, has inspired so many who've come after her. And off of that, I definitely want to talk about your fashion, your outfits. You have the most beautiful expression of fashion. I love it. I feel like it very much matches your commitment to like positivity, to love. Even your outfit today is so cute. I love the red. Tell me about like your sense of fashion and what that means to you.
Well, music is one thing, art is another, poetry is another, but fashion is everything to me because we get these bodies, no matter what shape, what size, what color, and you get to use it like a canvas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, show out, right? Just show
Exactly.
out, because ain't nobody got the body you got.
Mhm.
So I love to play with color. I love that because whatever color I'm like, you know, I could wake up feeling so down and so gray, like, oh no, another day on earth. And then I put on a color and I'm like, bam, I'm ready. I'm ready for this day, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think color and fashion is a way to, like, also bring magic and energy and kind of enthusiasm and exuberance into your day.
Yeah. Tell me what you were feeling and thinking today when you put on this outfit. What went through your head?
Well, definitely color red because I wanted something super bright but also it's hot, so something light and playful. And I love how on your show you have so many comfortable guests who are not like, yes, they have this stage presence, but when they're with you, they're just who they are, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so down to earth. So I was like, I want to wear some comfortable shoes. I want a
Yes.
t-shirt, but it's got to be cute. This is the place I played in San Francisco before. I love this. And then a skirt. Why not, right?
We love a skirt. We really love a skirt. And I'm so glad that you recognize that from our show. And I think that's not even something that I really even pieced together so much until right now. And I really appreciate that you recognize people can just come and be themselves and be comfortable. And yeah, I just want everyone to feel like they can be their most authentic selves when they're in my presence. So I'm glad you feel that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
beautiful. I would love to talk about your work as an author, which I think is a super interesting part of your story. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I write mostly essays and poems, and the poems started coming to me when my father passed away because songs come to me.
Right.
I don't sit down to write songs, I just hear them. And then I start to pull more from what I hear. And so poems started coming when my father passed. And the way I know the difference between a poem and a song is that songs are sung and poems are spoken.
Right.
And so I don't ever have to be like, is this a song or a poem? Except for one poem I've written, which kind of is starting to pick up a melody now. And I'm like, it might be a poem, song, poem. But yeah, I don't know. I have a few projects now where I'm supposed to write articles or essays for something, like publications, and that's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard for me because I just write when things come.
Right.
You know?
I'm sure it's a very different process when you have either a deadline or an assigned topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, not good at that.
Yeah. And I also know that you wrote a children's book, which I think is really cool. What do you feel like, was the children's book also like poetry based?
No, it's about an instrument called the banjolele, which is a mixture of the ukulele and the banjo, and it's very small, and it just tells a story of dreams and hope and believing for kids through the eye of the personification of the ukulele banjolele.
The banjolele. How did you come up with that?
Well, my best friend gave it to me years ago, and I seriously thought it was a toy. I was like, I ain't doing nothing with this. But then I started to hear songs on it, and so it came to life for me, almost like the Velveteen Rabbit. It came to life in that storybook. And because that process happened with the instrument, I wanted to share that with kids who might be very creative inside and want to learn how to play an instrument, but they're a little shy about it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody anyone can sing, anyone can play anything, anyone can learn new languages, paint, draw, whatever. Be creative. That's what we're going to do when AI takes over. We're going to be creative. We're going to be hanging out in the park, like,
Exactly.
painting.
That is how we are going to, exist
Navigate.
with AI, navigate this, is just continue being creative. That's all
Right.
we can do, and that AI can never do what we do with our own minds and emotions. So yeah, that's really special. Valerie, I'd love to know what you're listening to right now. Like, what music has been on rotation? What's at the top of your playlist?
Well, today I'm going to record a song with an artist named Treya Lamb, and they have incredible songs that they've written. And this will be, like, I think, the second record that they've put out, and it's more like singer-songwriter style music. So I've been listening to that on repeat for the last few days, and I love sharing the story of Treya because I found them through Resistance Revival Chorus, and I don't know if you've heard of the chorus, but they play all over New York and show up at protests and many different events, and they're just so active and vocal about their wishes for a better world too. So it was really cool to meet Treya and then get invited to go sit in on some music. And then another group is called the War and Treaty, and they have several records out, but recently they sent me a new song that they wrote, and so I've been working on that song too. So the music that I've been listening to has been stuff that I'm working on, but it's also stuff that kind of like I'll take time away from. And the reason I take time away from it is because I like to listen to the world.
Right.
There was an artist, I think his name was John Cage, and I don't know if you've studied his work at all, but he really was studying the music of the world, and he has a piece where it's just listening to traffic, buses going by, birds, and he studied it so intensely that he found that there is no silence. Even if you're in a chamber and it's supposed to be 100% quiet, you hear your heartbeat, you hear the blood moving through your veins. And so I've been really trying to tune in to that music and listen from that space. And I think when I make space for that, then that's when I start hearing songs. They start popping off the page.
Yeah. What are some sounds of the world that you're really interested in or that you feel drawn to?
My favorite one is the sound of flip-flop going across a deck. Because like a pier, just a flip-flop just...
That is a good sound.
I like this.
That's a really good
right
sound.
Now. And then when you dive into the water in the splash. So, it's clearly summer, but right now I'm like, that's the sound I love.
Those are some very good summertime sounds. Do you think you would ever incorporate that flip-flop sound into a song?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. That could be cool.
Yeah.
There are songs like Pink Floyd when they have the game at the start of the song, or even Ozzy Osbourne, he has a cough at the beginning of a song.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if I'm in the studio, I'm like, man, it'd be so cool to put something on a song like that, but it doesn't come to me. So you just might have inspired the next sound I put on that's not a part of the song, but it fits.
Yeah, you never know. It could have a little flip-flop intro on a song soon. We'll see about that. I'd love to talk about your relationship with genre and what that's like for you, because you've described yourself and your music as being very multi-dimensional. How much do you feel like you align yourself with certain genres, and is genre something that you consider when you're creating a song?
I don't consider it when I'm creating, but I have to consider it after it's made. I have to be like, okay, is this a soul song, a country song, a blues song, a rock and roll song? What kind of song is this? And so many songs are many different genres. And so I have to do that because of the way music is marketed.
Right.
After it's made, I have to start thinking about that. But I really don't like to go there. I like to just create. And I think we are, as creators, musicians, even in fashion and food, we're starting to be a little bit more tolerant of people who are interested in many different ways of being creative within a field. And so I think it's also that way because we're inspired by each other so much through online presences. So it's not like you get in the lane and you stay in that lane. It's like, no, people are doing what they feel. They're doing what they love.
Definitely. Do you spend that much time on social media?
I've stopped spending as much time on there. And it's funny because I have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to come back to it and be like, oh, okay, that happened over the last 4 or 5 days. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad they're doing this and that. And, you know, even with my family, like my sister sent something, and apparently it was National Sisters Day yesterday. And so when I went online, I saw that she had posted something with me and my other sister. And I was like, oh, man, if I'd have been on, then I would have shared that. But I guess I could share it anytime.
Yes, you can. When you are on social media, what kind of stuff might we see like on your Instagram feed? Like what kind of content do you enjoy when you are on social media?
Well, usually it's like what is happening, anything from the performances. It's very focused on the music
Yeah.
and like not so much focused on my real life behind the scenes because I'm usually not posting in real time. I like to live my life and then go back and decide, oh, this is something lovely to share with the world. And I don't know, maybe we should live more online. I think both ways are fine, whatever a person wants. But I like to, if I'm going to be at the beach, I would have been at the beach maybe 6 months before. And then share.
Then you let them know. Be like, here's that one time I was at the beach. You don't get to know when it was.
Yeah, because, you know, I just was at the beach. So being present there. And so I think that's one of the ways that I like to be on there. But I also like going on and finding out what my family and friends and like learning about new menus and meals to cook or different things. Yeah, it's fun.
What's been like your favorite meal that you've cooked recently?
Well, last night I had some shiitake mushrooms,
Oof.
and then I had some white turnips, and I had a Japanese eggplant and some snap peas with a onion, but it had like the, you know, it was the onion part, but it had a long bit of the stems, the leaves as well, and some garlic and white beans, and I made kind of like a bowl out of that.
Yeah.
And then I had some cucumbers, tomatoes, basil, avocado, and I chopped that and made a cold cucumber salad to go with it.
Sounds
I'm
heavenly.
dreaming of having the leftovers today.
Oh yeah. Especially on like a hot day like this to like bite into a crunchy cold cucumber salad. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I might make one when I get home. You've inspired me. The last question I want to ask you is a fun one, and I love getting people's perspective on this. Who is your favorite fictional character, and what would their favorite song by you be?
Oh God. That's one that's got me on my toes. My favorite fictional character. That's really hard. Oh God.
Take your time. It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I do need some time. Because I don't spend a lot of time in fiction. I mean, Kermit the Frog is pretty great.
Yeah.
And he can play the banjo.
Yes, he can.
I think he might be, like, up there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty up there. And he could kind of, like, we could do a song together. What would we do? I think it would be cool to do something like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, an Otis Redding song, because that's super Memphis.
Yeah.
So bring in that and do it with Kermit with the flip-flops walking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're doing the video, right? And me and Kermit, all you see is feet, green feet and my feet in flip-flops, and you hear the sound. And then we get to the end of the dock thing, and there's 2 banjos laying down, his and mine.
Beautiful.
And we pick them up, and then it shows us sitting there on the dock playing these banjos and singing the song.
Wow. Valerie June and Kermit sitting on the dock of the bay, flip-flop edition. That sounds amazing. I would like to hear that.
And then we flip-flop out and out. Or splash in the water.
Or jump in the water so you get the water splash sound too. Yeah. Kermit the Frog, if you're watching this, hit up Valerie for a session. We would love to see this song come together. And to close it out, I'd love if you could give the people, you know, a little idea of where they can find you, anything you have coming up, any shows. I also know you have a new album out as well. So tell us about what you've got going on now and in the near future.
The album is called Owls, Omens, and Oracles, and it came out this past spring, summer. And so I did a big, long U.S. tour, and now I'm doing overseas tours, Japan, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, France, UK, and then I'll hit Mexico, and then back to the States. So I have a
Beautiful.
lot going on right now, y'all.
Yes, she is around the world. Is there a particular city you're most excited for?
I mean, I'm excited for Tokyo for real.
Yeah.
I'm so, like, I can't wait to just eat my way through that town. And you know what? I want the sushi, but I really want the fried chicken. Because Japanese fried chicken is no joke. It's so good.
I've heard great
So
things about the
good.
Japanese fried
Look at
chicken.
that fried chicken.
That's going to be a time. Well, Valerie, thank you so much for joining me today. It was lovely to meet you. You are so wonderful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Annabelle.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Yay.